This is Johnny Girardi with DataSelf. I'm the founder and CEO. Thank you for joining our session. It's a very exciting session. We have our webinar pretty much sold out a few days ago, so thank you for your interest. This is a marketing effort between DataSelf and Ascent Business Systems. I'd like to thank specifically to Mike Hutter as well as Chris Fix for giving us this opportunity. The reason we're here today is pretty much to talk about reporting and data analysis, how to make it better, how to augment your automated services in Sage 100 ERP. Just to give a little bit of background for our company, we have been delivering business intelligence solutions and analytics for the Sage market for about 13 years now. We were one of the first companies in this industry to provide what we call high-end, very user-friendly solutions. We have been working with automated services for several years, and we have very many clients using DataSelf BI for augmenting, automated services Sage 100. And speaking with Mike and Chris, we found that giving you guys some education about how the solution works, how other clients are using to their benefit, could be something valuable for your organizations. So we have a fairly good content to cover here today. I'm going to get started. So what we're going to cover today pretty much is for about 50 minutes, go over some PowerPoint slides, talk about analytics and business intelligence, what's the benefit about it. We're going to spend most of the time talking and showing how our product works, pulling data from Sage 100 and automated services. And then we should have about 15 minutes to go over the questions and answers. Because we have a lot of people in this webinar, you're going to be muted the whole session. But when we have the Q&A, the idea is for you to put questions through the GoToMeeting chatting box. When we get to the point, I'll show how that works. So please make your questions, write down your questions, and at the end, the last 15 minutes, we'll go over them. All right, let's get started. So let's go through the PowerPoint slides first. So first of all, why shell, is probably because you're having reporting and analysis challenges. You're probably using, Crystal, Access, Excel, those tools to pull information out of your out of your Sage 100 in automated services. And typically, when you do that, it's very labor intensive. And labor intensive is from both sides, from the business user as well as from the IT person, the person who knows how to build the reports. So usually, it takes more than one people to build reports. The business user usually doesn't know how to do it. It may take many interactions until the report comes exactly as the business user needs. So it's labor intensive. It takes a long time, and very often it's a very frustrating process. So this is one of the most challenges when it comes to building reports out of traditional accounting packages. The second main challenge that people may face is performance. Sometimes you want to run a report and it may take too long. Too long can be 30 seconds, a few minutes, maybe even hours. So slow performance or poor performance is another major challenge of traditional reporting tools. So why organizations turn to business intelligence or to analytics? Well, pretty much, is to empower business users. Business users are the people that need the reports, that need the information, that need to slice and dice their data to make more informed decisions. And most of the time, they have to rely on another person, an IT person, an external consultant, to build the report, to change the report as needed. So, in a nutshell, business intelligence is a technology that we can give users the ability to take care of their needs by themselves. That's the main core of BI. If it's not empowering non-IT people, it's not doing its job. In this perspective, we've been in this market again for about 13 years, and we always focused on really intuitive and really easy to use reporting solutions for business users. So if you look at our track record, what we can tell is if you have our BI solution, or the clients that have our BI solution, their business users can actually tackle more than 70% of their own reporting needs without IT support. So most of the time, they can do it. Or maybe an assistant that is close to them. They don't need to call IT. They don't need to wait hours, days to get the reports. So one of the main benefits is empowering business users, and we do a great job in that regard, and we'll show how we do it in a few minutes. The second benefit is fast. When it comes to running our reports and queries, most of them will run in seconds, regardless of the size of your database. So being a super fast query that when you press a button, you get the answer in a few seconds is another focus of our business. Those are the two main benefits of DataSelf BI: user-friendliness and high performance. How we do it? Well, there are two major BI components working behind the scenes for us to deliver such a user-friendliness as well as high speed. The first main component is called the analytics. And analytics is quite different from traditional reporting. It's quite different from Crystal reports, Excel, and Access. Those technologies, typically, you have to be a very IT-savvy person to master them. Most business people just don't have the time to learn them. It takes weeks, sometimes months to be proficient. Analytics is a technology that has been designed with business people in mind. The focus is a tool that allows business users with little training, sometimes no training, to be able to do things that would take a long time for an expert to build. So analytics is focused on business users, intuitive, easy to use technology, and also easy to distribute information. So if you are a VP of sales and you came up with a great insight, using the analytics solution, and you want to share with other people, you should be able to do that yourself without having to call IT to help you how to give this information to other people. So analytics does a great job in that regard. In DataSelf BI, we prime for the best of the breed, the easiest to use analytics solution that we can provide to our markets, and we're always looking for that. And as I'm going to show later, you're most likely going to be very impressed with this kind of technology. One of the specific business benefits that analytics can help in the automated services industry is, for instance, you are analyzing sales in your services, and sometimes you may realize that when you have a service of a given part or some kind of equipment, you may realize that several of your people or your servicers, they're actually upselling additional products or additional services when that kind of situation occurs. So when you have this kind of insight, just by slicing that your data, you can very quickly broadcast this new insight to your salespeople or to your field servicers, so they can, on the spot, as they see or they work on those opportunities, they can right away take advantage and try to upsell something else and therefore increase your sales. So analytics allows you to do that, quickly find new trends and distribute that information with other people. The other functionality that we use behind the scenes to augment the user-friendliness as well as the high performance is what we call a ultralight data warehousing. Make a long story short, there are two main benefits of an ultralight data warehousing. The first thing is the one version of the truth. What is that? Well, sometimes you may go to a meeting and several people come with their own reports to discuss metrics and how the company is doing. However, each one of these people, they come in with a report that a different person wrote from scratch. So the business rules are not exactly the same. So people start to discuss metrics and results based on different versions of the truth. And that sometimes is very challenging, how you can be sure that when you're talking about your sales, your services, your man hours, your overtime, everyone is looking at the same metrics. And data warehousing is a technology that works behind the scenes to guarantee or to minimize chances that people are looking at the different versions of the truth. The second main benefit of data warehousing is a database that is highly optimized for data analysis. That means the analytics that I was talking before is going to be easier and it's going to be much faster. So those two are the two main benefits of an ultralight data warehouse. One example of data warehousing applied to automated services, which has been very useful for some of our clients, is, for instance, the ability to build P&Ls, profit and losses kind of statements within the automated services initiatives. So you can build P&Ls based on agreements or based on equipment types, for instance. And if you're looking, let's say, for agreement, you could even do projection. In the middle of an agreement, you can see how profitable this particular agreement is. Is it going to be profitable or not at the end of the contract? And should you do something about it to increase the profitability? So being able to build very sophisticated P&Ls out of automated services transactions and linking that information with Sage 100 information is something that the data warehouse can really do a great job. Just an example. So maybe for some of you who are not very business intelligence savvy, the next two slides are a little bit too subjective, but I always like to show the market landscape, who are the players out there, and how we position ourselves with the other BI solutions. So this is a kind of a summary of how things work. Here on the left, we have 4 different metrics. User friendliness, high performance, easy and secure ways to distribute information, as well as the cost of the solution. So all of these metrics, as you go up, you're going to find that there's a lot of different solutions out there in the Sage market that cover the entry-level 80% of the market. And here we mentioned some of these solutions: BI Matrix, BizNet, Microsoft BI, Nectary, Sage Intelligence. They have the enterprise and the reporting solution, Sage Insights, StoneQuery Query. Great solutions, affordable pricing. If you're not looking for the most user-friendly, highest performance, and you have a low budget, you should look for them first. You should assess them. They have great solutions. In the top 20% of the opportunities, when you're looking for something really user-friendly that business people can really take ownership, can really make the job, take the reporting analysis on their hands, as well as something super fast, it's going to run in seconds, super easy to distribute, using desktop, web, and mobile devices. However, the budget is going to be, higher. You're going to spend most likely 5 figures in those investments. Those are some of the vendors that do a really good job in that regard. So DataSelf BI would position in the top 20% of the market. People that have the budget to really take advantage of the user friendliness, high performance, and easy and secure distribution. If you are interested in learning more about our vision of how we stack against other BI vendors, we can have more discussions on a one-on-one basis. Sage actually invited us in the last summit to do a BI presentation about the market landscape and talk about the strengths and weaknesses of all players, including ourselves. So we have a lot of knowledge about why you should use them or why you should use another solution. So feel free to use this as a resource, not only for selling our own solution, but also as someone that has been around for a long time and know the market and wants you to make the best decision for your own needs. The next slide is, why are we positioned in the top 20%? Why are we so fast? Why are we so easy to distribute? So this is another way to slice that information. If you look from a performance versus user friendliness, there's pretty much these 3 vendors that are super fast and super easy to use. If you go and look on the internet for IDC researches and BI research, you're going to see that ClickView, Tableau, Spotfire, some other vendors are the best of the breed when it comes to analytics. And actually, DataSelf BI uses Tableau as an OEM, as our front end. So we really leverage the user-friendliness and performance that Tableau provides. And we even augment it with our own data warehouse. So that's one way of looking at analytics market. The other way is, why are we even better than ClickView and Tableau by themselves? Well, if you look at the out-of-the-box value we provide versus the turnkey cost, we're not the least expensive, and we're not the most expensive. We sit right in the middle from a cost standpoint. However, out of the box, we have more than 2,000 reports, dashboards, and KPIs pre-configured, almost like plug and play. Usually in a few hours or a few days, you get a lot more than just a BI tool. A lot of reports, a lot of KPIs. So out of the box, we have a lot of things more than just a tool, while pretty much all vendors, they provide little out-of-the-box solution. So that's why we consider ourselves in the top 20%. We leverage the greatest technology out there, and we have built for Sage 100 and automated services a very comprehensive plug-and-play solution. Very quickly, our architecture. This can be a little technical, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. What we have on the far left would be the Sage 100, the automated services, which both of them are part of the same database. We can pull data from CRM systems, other data sources like Access, Excel spreadsheets, and so forth. We bring that information to a data warehouse, and we use our own technology called ETL to make this data warehouse an ultralight data warehouse, meaning it takes only a few hours, maybe a few days to deploy it and to maintain it. Much easier, very fast, very inexpensive. We use SQL Server as the platform for the data warehouse, so it's industry standard, widely supported framework. On the client side, we use the in-memory analytics solution from Tableau. It's, as I mentioned, is an OEM product. We call DataSelf Analytics, and this can be deployed either on premises or in the cloud. At the end of the day, once we have this framework installed for your own organization, your users, regardless where they are, they can be in the office, they can be on a coffee shop with their notebook, making proposals, making analysis. They can be with an iPad or a tablet on the field, or maybe with their phones. That's how they can consume analytics out of DataSelf BI. Very user-friendly, very fast to deliver that functionality. Alrighty, so that was my 15-minute introduction with the PowerPoint. I hope no one is sleepy. What we're going to do now is jump into the product presentation. It's the exciting part of it. And we're going to be covering web, mobile analytics. We're going to show ease of use and security. By the way, if you have seen our marketing materials, you have seen that we are always showing a Ferrari as part of the marketing materials, and you may wonder why. So let me give a little bit of talk about it. We are positioning DataSelf Analytics as so fast, so nimble, so liberating that it's like driving Ferrari. And when we compare our BI solution with the other vendors in the mid-market, there's many, as I mentioned before, many vendors, and we call them the Beamers, the Mercedes, the Porsches. Great solutions, great pricing. But if you're looking for the fastest, the most comprehensive, the most robust, the sexier, we are a Ferrari. So we are a Ferrari BIs, and that's what I want to show you right now, showing the product. So let me switch gears and show you how things work. So first of all, I'm going to start showing a web portal. This web portal can be accessed as a regular web portal on a web browser, or also on tablets like the iPad, or on mobile devices like iPhones and Android phones. Now, when you log to a portal like this, security is critical. We have to be sure that what you're accessing is only what you can see from a two-bucket standpoint. One is when I logged to this dashboard, I can only see dashboards that belong to me. If I'm part of the sales team or the finance team or the services team, I would only see the dashboards for my team. Not only that, when I open one of these dashboards, the solution can be smart enough to only give you information specific to my accounts. So let's say, right now in this particular demo, I'm a salesperson. I log to the sales dashboard and I click the sales performance trend. When I click on it, in this example, I'm going to assume that when I clicked here, I'm the West Coast manager. So when I open this dashboard, the tool automatically only shows me West Coast information. So I see daily sales, sales accumulating throughout the year. Now, if I were the VP of sales and I logged to the same dashboard, the tool would automatically give me all information. So for all the different regions, the VP of sales could see information and see the trend overall. So security behind the scenes is smart enough to only give information based on your credentials. Same dashboard, the person who created this dashboard was the same one, just published it, and then security behind the scenes was taking care of what I can see as far as dashboard and what information is delivered to myself. All right, so now showing pre-configured dashboards is something that anyone can do. What I always challenge people to do when they are building for new reporting solutions and BI solutions is ask the vendor how easy it is to build a new report or dashboard from scratch. Don't make something too easy. Show me something of average sophistication and see how easy that is. Can you follow the steps? Does seem complicated? That's where we sell. We do a great job. We're always looking for the best of the breed technology to make the solution really easy and intuitive for business people. And that's what I'm going to show now. I'm going to show how easy it is to build a dashboard from scratch and to publish on this web portal that will be accessible again by web and mobile devices. So I'm going to go now to this desktop client, which is the major publishing tool. And before I show how to do it, let me just give a quick overview of the pieces of this navigation tool. If you are a business person, like the owner of the company, the CEO, the VP of sales, and you're like, I don't want to build my dashboards. I have someone else to do it. Don't worry. What I'm going to show here today is something that you don't need to be an IT to do it. And if you want to learn it, you can. Maybe you're too busy. Someone else is going to do it for you. But I want to show you that if you want it, you can. And someone close to you that has the time will be able to do this for you without having to call IT to fulfill reporting needs. That's my purpose today. So how does this tool work? Well, first of all, here on the left side, we have what we call the data panel. And right now, I'm looking for the sample database, data that is combined from Sage 100 sales along with automated services sales information. And then I have a group of dimensions. And dimensions are the entities that usually you want to analyze your business by. You have your customer, you have equipment. I'm looking at job from an automated service standpoint. You could have agreements analysis as well, but in this example, I'm looking at job analysis. So I have the job details, salespeople, service side, service team. If you open any of these dimensions, you have subcomponents of those dimensions. And the list of subcomponents available here comes pretty much pre-configured out of the box, but it's fairly simple to add additional components to this list of dimensions. So the idea is when you're doing analysis as a business person, you just drag and drop the components that you need into your reporting. Now, sometimes you look at this information and you don't know exactly what you're looking at. What is salesperson? If I put the mouse over the salesperson, I have this pop-up window that tells me that this salesperson is the rep recorded on the invoice header in this case on the Sage 100 system. While if I go to the customer field and look at the account manager is the rep currently assigned to the customer. So if a sales for last year was done by another salesperson, it doesn't matter. If I use this one, it only looks as today classification by account. But if I look that salesperson, I would see who sold to this customer last year. Anyway, these pop-up windows help people know what they're looking at. It's kind of self-service. You can build reports and get information for what you need pretty much within the tool. Here at the bottom we have the sample of measures that you want to analyze your sales from Sage 100 and automated services. So you have actual cost, days in the status, days since receivable day, days to complete, expected cost, extended price, and so forth. So once it comes to building reports and dashboards, the idea is you just have to drag and drop this into this framework here. Now, the other thing that this tool does really great is this Show Me button, and I'll show you in a bit how it works, but it's something very exciting. Now that I give a little overview of this tool, let's build from scratch a new dashboard. And let's make it, not too simple, something a little sophisticated, and see how easy that is. So I'm the VP of Sales, and I want to build a dashboard with 3 different views. I want to see sales and profitability by salesperson. I want to see by equipment type my gross profit, and I want to see my sales by geography, by state. So I'm going to build that dashboard. 3 views: sales and gross profit by salesperson, gross profit by equipment type, and sales by geography. Let's do that from scratch. So I'm going to start first. I want to see. My first report is salesperson report. I want to see expected price and gross profit percentage. That's what I want to see. But how do I want to see it? It's a good question. Very often when you want a new report or a new dashboard, you know where you want to go, but until you get there, you don't have a clear picture. So building a report and a dashboard is like a discovery process. And sometimes, if you're working with someone else, like with an IT, it may take several interactions until the report gets the way that you want. That's the right colors, with the right formatting, and so forth. It just takes a discovery. Now, if you're using an IT person, someone else, is going to take maybe hours, maybe days to get that done. Here with this tool is so much easier. So I selected those 3 pieces of information, and now the Show Me button that I showed before is a technology that was built by Stanford University professors. They studied how business people like to analyze data and what kind of data visualization techniques apply to different type of data that you're using. So because I selected this salesperson, sales amount, and gross profit, the Show Me button already told me that what I should not use for data visualization. I cannot use maps. There's no geographical component in my list of reporting parameters, and I cannot use other type of analysis that doesn't make sense. However, it highlights type of data visualization that make really sense for my type of analysis. So just give it a try. Try different ones. For instance, let's try the first one. This is simply a list of my salespeople, the extended price, and the percentage gross profit. Okay, that was easy, but I'm not that here. I'm a visual person. I want to see some colors, some charts, some things. Let's try something else. This data visualization representation has bigger boxes for bigger sales, and the color of the box has a color theme to represent profitability. Kind of cute, but I'm not happy yet. So let's click the next one, and you keep on clicking the next one, until you find something that hey, I kind of actually like this approach. And right here in my presentation, I'm going to stick with this one. I have here my list of salespeople. I have bars for the extended price and bars for the gross profit. I kind of like this. Now, I have these 2 salespeople who are rock stars. They sell left and right. I don't need to manage them. Let me exclude them from this query. So exclude both of them. Now I have everyone else. Let me also sort this. So just by clicking these buttons, I can sort ascending and descending. And I have a bunch of new salespeople that are working, so I don't care about them either. I want to get them out of my query. So by the same token, I'm going to exclude them. Okay, I'm kind of liking this approach, but I'm a very visual person. I like colors. So let me drag the gross profit percentage to my color mark here. And when I do that, the tool automatically put colors. And actually, by the way, let me make the gross profit percentage to all of my colors. That way, I can see very easily the profitability on a color schema, and I see that my top customer is not that profitable. And this one particularly is very unprofitable. So visually, now I have great insights. I love this particular query. Let's wrap it up. We're going to call sales by rep. That was my first query. That was easy. As you can tell, no need to understand programming, no need to understand complicated things. As a business user with little training, you can actually build these things from scratch. Now, let's build a second query. I want to see by equipment type the gross profit. This is a very simple query. I go to my equipment list. I have equipment type. I can also drag and drop parameters into my report. So here I have equipment types, and then the gross profit I can also drag and drop to my rows here. So very simple. That's my equipment type gross profitability report. If I want to put a date, to see year over year, I can also drag, let's say, the document date to my, let's say, columns. So now I see profitability on a yearly basis. I can kind of, swap, columns and rows very easily. I can easily drill down. Right now I'm looking on a yearly basis. If I click here, now I'm drilling down on a quarterly basis. If I click here, I go on a monthly basis. Very easy, point and click, you can drill down. By default, I can drill down into calendar periods, like quarters, months, days. I can also drill down on, let's say, fiscal periods. I can slice and dice by weeks or by moving windows. I can do analysis year-to-date basis, quarter-to-date basis, month-to-date basis, the last 3 months versus the same 3 months last year. Doing time analysis is very straightforward with this technology. But it's okay. I mean, for my demo right now, I just want to build a simple query here. Let me swap again. So by equipment type, gross profit for the past 3 years. I'm going to rename this is equipment type GP, gross profit. That was my second query. And the third query is the most exciting one, is the geography analysis. And for automated services type of analysis, this can have so much importance. And I'll talk about some of them as we move forward here. But let me build my query first. So right now what I want to do is by service side, I want to see extended price. So I chose those two reporting parameters, service side and extended price. I go back to my show me button where it can help me choose how to see this analysis. And because I chose service side, which by the way has a county, state, zip, city, and zip structure, now I have mapping capabilities enabled. Let's try first with this analysis here, where I have the sales represented by different colors. Let me drill down from country to the state level. Now, this color schema is kind of cool, but I actually didn't like much. To me, I cannot really tell the difference between this sales and this sales. Let me try the other approach where I have bubbles to represent the size of the deal. And I think this is the direction. Now let me make the bubbles bigger. There you go. I love this. Now I can tell this is how much bigger California is comparing to other states. Now, when I'm doing my analysis, often I want to slice and dice by something else, by salespeople, by equipment type, by job type, you name it. Well, in my sample database, I have this my job detail I have the agreement size, which breaks down the agreement by small, medium, and large agreements. So I'm going to take this agreement and I'm going to drop into my color mark here, and I'm going to say that I want to see the marks as pie charts. Now look at that. This is super cool. What I can tell is bigger bubbles, bigger sales. In the slice of each bubble is the aggregation of the contracts, agreements based on their size. So I can see, you know, how much business I'm having from each different type of agreement size. This is cool. Now, is this changing over time? Is it growing? Is it declining? What's going on? Well, let's add time to this dimension. So let me go back to my dimensions here, and I'm going to add document date, let's say, as part of my columns. Oh, look at that. Now I can see trends, which ones are growing and what's happening with the slices. You know, in California, I can clearly see it's growing a lot, which is great. But remember, I'm building a dashboard that's going to have the other two pieces of information, everything in a single dashboard, and I'm going to have some of my salespeople open this dashboard on an iPad, on a tablet out there. Can you imagine seeing on a tablet these three maps side by side? Would be not very good, would be very crowded. So not there yet. This year thing is making my view a little too crowded. Let me try to put it as rows. So now I see for every row a different year, and I can see the trend, but again, it's kind of a little too crowded. On an iPad, maybe on an iPhone would be possible. Well, we can also put year into the pages approach. And let me just put some notes here. Let's put what the page name is. So let's make it a little bigger. So the page name now shows what year I'm seeing. So this is 2012 information. And now I can slide this and show how things are growing over time. I can even put this on a loop playback. You know, if I'm on a meeting with the board and I put in a loop playback and people can see as the year changes, see the trend. This could be year, could be quarter, could be month, fiscal periods, moving windows, moving months, you name it. Now this is a Ferrari. Very cool, very, very informative. I love this. I'm going to rename this by sales by state. And then I just built my three queries from scratch. Now I want to make them part of a dashboard and put on the web. So click here. I got a new dashboard. I see on the left all the existing queries. I could have several, 3, 5, 10, whatever. I just drag and drop. Very intuitive. Drag to my sheet area. So I have the map. Now the sales by rep, I can drag to the left side of my dashboard, or top, right, bottom, very drag and drop. So I'm going to put on my left. I give some more room to my map because I think the map is more important. And then the equipment type, I can also drag and drop, you know, on the far left, top left. You know, I just move my mouse around and I find a place where I believe is going to be a good fit. Right here, I think is a good one, right below my map. And by the way, let me make this automatic fit into my screen. Beautiful. I have my dashboard. Now I'm just going to select use as filter for all of these different quadrants, and I'll explain the use as a filter in a few minutes. So all of these quadrants will be filters, and I want to rename this dashboard to, I'm going to call Johnny Dashboard. Beautiful. I just built from scratch the whole dashboard. If I were not explaining this to you, it would literally take me, you know, a few minutes to build this from scratch. In this way, it's taking us so far about, you know, a little over 10 minutes to show how the solution works. Now let's publish to the server. Very easy. Go to server, click Publish Workbook, and then it tells me what I want to publish. I don't want to publish the feeding queries, but only the dashboard. I can take care of security at this point. You know, right here, I could select what kind of, you know, team members would have access to this dashboard. You know, sales team, individuals. Very easy. You just pick, click OK, and then you publish it. So right now, this is going to be sent to my server. This server could be locally on my network, my intranet, or it can be in the cloud. So I just send the query, and now it should be available on my dashboard. So if, let's say, someone on the East Coast was expecting this dashboard, I would call the person and say, hey, John Doe, just refresh your dashboard. The person on his own iPad would click refresh and say, no, check Johnny DB dashboard, and there it is, Johnny DB. This person would just click on it, and then, if this person is the VP of sales, let's say, it would have access to the whole dashboard for the whole information. If this person was only the West Coast account manager, he would only see the West Coast information, nothing else about the other guys, no salespeople from the other teams, no particular gross profit. So the information is, again, sensitive to the user credentials. Now, as I'm the VP of sales and I have access to the whole thing, I can start slicing and dicing my dashboard. So I look at this and I say, hey, I want to see how actually my West Coast is doing. So I can choose those 3 states from the West Coast. And I'm doing this with the mouse. However, if you're using a tablet, you can use your fingers. So you select those 3 states, and what happens is it changed. So now it's only showing the salespeople who are selling to those 3 states, how much the sales is in the gross profit. If I come over here and I select now one of these salespeople, then I'm further drilling down and I'm showing how much the salesperson is selling to those 3 states. And I have here a new legend showing the size of the queries and also the profitability of those sales. If I use the control button on my keyboard and I keep on adding more, I keep on changing the query to reflect that. Very intuitive, very easy to use, very empowering. This is our Ferrari. Now, some of your users out there may even want to slice and dice this report extensively. Most of the things I did on the publishing tool on the desktop, I can also do on the web and on mobile devices. So if I click the edit button, now the web or the mobile app becomes like the publishing tool, and now I have the data panel access, and I can further slice and dice this. Like I'm looking at this. If I want to add here my equipment ID, I can drag equipment ID. And right there, I get information. So even people on the field that have the rights to do so, they can actually slice and dice information using their own devices, mobile devices, or notebooks and so forth. And by the way, you can also take this data, and if you want to get details behind it, you can actually extract underlying data. You can see what data was pulled from mass from Sage 100 and automated services in a tablet way like this. You can export this to Excel and so forth. All right, let's go back to our PowerPoint and make some final comments about it. How about pricing? How much the solution costs? Well, as I mentioned, our solution it's more sophisticated, so it's going to cost you in the 5-figure range. That's a turnkey solution, meaning license and services. Usually is in the low end of the 5-figure range if you're starting with an entry-level system, which is what most of our clients do. We have seen most of our clients being able to empower their business users, especially in the field, like salespeople or servicers, consultants on the field, to make decisions more quickly, closing more deals, being more efficient, and usually we move the needle. We increase the sales of the organizations by a few percentage points. 1 to 5% is typical. And if your yearly revenues is, let's say, at least $10 million, 1 to 5% increase in productivity, in sales, in efficiency, that represents over $100,000 in additional sales and income. So typically, the ROI with DataSelf BI is measured in months. It's very impressive. If I want you to take something out of this presentation, is summarized in this PowerPoint. Our solution is really easy to use. We use the best of the breed, most intuitive solutions to give you something that your business users will become empowered by it. And behind the scenes, we have our data warehousing and Tableau analytics doing part of the job. Again, most of the queries will run in seconds, and we have a very comprehensive out-of-the-box that comes with thousands of reports, dashboards, and KPIs pre-configured. Again, the Ferrari, why do we have the Ferrari here as well? I want to show you very quickly our website, and we have this Ferrari promotion. If you click on this link, you can see the details about it, but the point is, if you buy DataSelf BI in the right period, in the current promotion period, you can have actually a 1-day free rental of a Ferrari. You can drive for a full day. We actually have in our videos, one video that we have, I'm going to show you very quickly here, of the first client. The first. How do you feel?
It's better than going to Disneyland.
Guys, actually, this was the first of our clients who won the Ferrari promotion at Summit. This lucky guy, he actually lives in Washington, D.C., and he got this F430 for a full day. He took it home. He took his wife to the Summit event in Washington, D.C., and he has 2 kids in his early 20s, 2 boys, and they were so thrilled that his daddy was driving a Ferrari for a full day. So some kind of fun, just to attach our technology to high-end, super cool, flashy, sexy solution that will empower your business users with the best of the breed solution out there. Alrighty, so we're right on time. We have about 15 minutes for Q&A, and if you want to make questions, you can, you have on your GoToMeeting probably on the far right of your screen. If you click this button, it's going to expand or contract the panel. So click right here to expand it, and then you can write a message here and click the button send, and I'll get the question and I'll answer it. If we don't have time to answer all the questions today, we're going to address them on a one-on-one basis. So I'm having some questions here already. Thank you very much. The first question is about pricing. Always good questions. Is what is the price per user? So what I showed before, let me go back to that slide. Overall, the 5-figure range is to get the whole installation up and running, services and licenses. Adding users to the system is usually in buckets of 5 users, and each individual user is about $500 to $800 each. But again, we sell in buckets of 5. So additional users usually is going to cost you a few $1,000s for every 5 users. Another question is, can this application talk to other SQL databases? Very good question. Let me go back to the architecture. So as I show here, this application comes pre-configured to pull data from automated services in Sage 100. However, it can pull data from any data source. If you have data in SQL databases, in Access databases, Excel, and you want to combine it with your mass automated services, or even keep it standalone, yes, this is very easy, very intuitive. Bringing databases to the system is something that IT must be involved. However, once IT has brought in the information from the other systems and made it available to the analytics solution, at that point, business users can take ownership. If you bring, let's say, CRM, or if you bring some kind of services module to your data warehouse, and you want to combine it with your job analysis, your work order analysis, your agreement analysis, Once you add those reporting parameters to the whole list, business user will be able to drag and drop just like I did during the presentations. Good question. Another question, training. Good question. So training, most of the time we train people on the client tool, how they can build reports and dashboards from scratch. On average, when we sell 6 hours of training to get people comfortable building their own reports and dashboards. We have a lot of videos on the website that also are self-serve videos, so you can actually be trained by yourself at your own pace. We also have several users that actually learned to use the solution without training. If you're curious, if you like to poke around things, you can often learn how to do it without training. I'm a very curious person. I don't like to sit on training classes. I don't like to read manuals. I like to just figure it out. I'm a savvy user though, and I pretty much learned how to use this tool with no training, just by looking at the videos and poking around. It's very intuitive. But again, on average, it takes 6 hours. Another question. Can you edit the measures, add and use additional formulas? Very good question. So yes, if you go here to the client tool, and let's say you want to create a new measure, you can right-click and say create new calculated field. And right here we have this this wizard here that you can actually make new calculations. Some calculations can be as simple as, let's say, if you want to do, let's say, the actual cost. I'm sorry, let me delete this. If you want to do the actual cost divided by the bill cost and call this, whatever. You just build that. It can be as simple as this. Click OK. And now we have this new calculation that you can actually drag and drop into your analysis. So now we have the new calculation and gross profit side by side. So yes, editing measures, creating new ones can be fairly straightforward. On average, again, more than 70% of these things can be done by the end users. However, more complicated ones, you may require IT to build things on the back end. So again, more than 70% of the times, the business users can do those things, can build new measures, can build new calculations, but you're not going to get rid of IT. You'll need them, but they'll be keeping up they'll be maintaining the back end of the solution. Good question. Other questions. What is the time to deploy this solution? Good question. So usually it takes literally hours or days worth of work to get the solution up and running and get you guys trained. But in real life, until we get access to your server, we install it, you test it, we adjust it, make some customizations, we train your team. Usually takes about a month from the time that we sign the contract to the time it is going to take you guys to be self-sufficient. So overall, time to deploy is about a month, even though it's going to take hours to days worth of work from our team or Ascent's team to support you with that deployment. More questions. I think that some of you are probably already have heard us for a while. So the question here is, what happened with the donut challenge? Let me tell you that. So if you follow us for a while, until about half a year ago, the way we were positioning ourselves was not like the Ferrari of BIs. We were positioning ourselves as, the donut challenge. And the point was build a report faster than the time it takes to eat a donut. And in real presentations, we would bring donuts to the presentation. And when it comes to build a new dashboard, a new report, we would hand out the donuts and tell people, I'm going to count to 3. When I say go, you build your report, and you eat your donut, and I'll build a report. Let's see who finishes first. So that was a very fun, interactive. It was showing how easy it is. People would remember us. But now we have a Ferrari. And my question to you is, do you want a donut or do you want a Ferrari? Anyway, so with the Ferrari, I think we are showing a lot more the value. You know, it's super sophisticated, it's super fast, super cool. So we believe the Ferrari is much better to communicate the value we add to this market. More questions. So I see here that also there's some people that are very BI knowledgeable. They're asking about where Spotfire and Target fits in our positioning. Let me go back to those slides. Spotfire and Target, they are also high-end BI analytic platforms. If you go to IDC analysis, you're going to find them where they're positioned. In IDC analysis as well as our analysis, they are not as user-friendly as ClickView and Tableau. Right now, ClickView and Tableau are the two top, most popular, very successful analytics platforms out there. So, you know, Spotfire in Target are also very good, but we believe ClickView, Tableau, and because we use Tableau, we are actually really focusing on easy of use. What else? What other questions we have here? Oh, actually, this is a comment that I think is important to mention. When it comes to automated services, sometimes there are clients that are dealing with services, and for the same issue with the equipment, let's say you may have several ways to solve it, or several services that have different efficiency ratios tackling those kind of problems. And if you don't have visibility of that, if you don't analyze the solutions that are more efficient, who are more efficient solving those problems, you may be wasting time. You may not be using the best practices when it comes to helping your business deliver your service more quickly and get better customer satisfaction. So with DataSelf BI, we have functionality that you can very quickly analyze, let's say for every problem, for every broken part, what kind of solutions have been the most effective, or maybe in what combination of challenges that you have that a certain solution is more effective than the other one. So there is intelligence in your data, and if you can use a solution like ours to figure it out, you can become a more efficient company. The other question I have here is, can you use sub-reports for more complicated reports similar to Crystal reports? The answer is yes. When we build dashboards like I did, you can actually use a dashboard in a way can be a sub-report type of configuration where one of these queries or panels is driving the top high level of the view, while the other two, you can have several here, 3, 4, 5, or sub-reports coming from each other or from the major one, and as you select something of the major one, you drive the sub-reports that way as well. So yes, you can build sub-reports. Now, I don't want to say that this is going to replace Crystal completely. Sometimes it does, but usually it does not. It's a complement to Crystal. There are certain things that Crystal or Excel does really well, and you should continue to do that. But there's a lot of things that analytics do so much easier, so much better. So this is not replacing what you have. This is to augment what you have, to give your end users a tool that they can actually tackle a lot of their needs without calling IT. Very good question. So we're wrapping up. It's already 10. Thank you very much for your questions. I actually have a few more questions to answer, but unfortunately, we no longer have time. I want to be sure that you guys respect your time. We're going to be accessing you guys on a one-on-one basis to answer specific questions. We're going to also be emailing you the PowerPoint presentation we covered today. And then Ascent, as well as us, will follow up with you guys to hear your feedback about the presentation and any questions and answers. I really appreciate your time. Let me put my last slide here. And interest in our business, and I look forward to being in touch and help you guys with your BI needs. Thank you.